Hey everyone, what's up? It's Sarah and welcome back to my channel. You guys, thank you for bearing in there with me. I took about a week or so, week and a half off so I could travel back to California, spend the holidays with my family, and I just didn't bring any of my gear with me in order to produce videos. So I just took a little sabbatical, but now I'm back. And oh my gosh, do we have to talk about Sister Wives. I have so many thoughts on last Sunday's episode, especially regarding Kody and Robin. Robin is insisting that she is not behind the rules or isolating themselves from the rest of the family. And, you know, I have some thoughts, but mostly I just feel like Kody is coming through more and more as emotionally manipulative, dare I say abusive, extremely narcissistic. Everything is about how it's affecting him, and we just have so much to talk about. Okay, so the clip in particular that I just thought highlighted my thoughts perfectly. So he's going over to Christine's house. It's after Ysabel has had her surgery. It's presumably after Ysabel and the rest of the moms and Kody come and check on her. And you know, Christine has been saying that it's been a really rocky ride, the recovery. There's good days, there's bad days, and just take a look at what Kody had to say.
She missed you. It was hard you couldn't be there. It was hard for her.
I know, I'm sorry.
I was okay, I was fine, surprisingly. The doctor was shocked I was there by myself.
There's no going back, but I wish I could have been there, and it's a real regret. And so it has me going back in time, wishing I'd have done things differently. If she'd hurry and recover, it just made me feel so much better about it. I hope there's a lot of forgiveness, but I should have been there for her operation. How is she going to feel about that all of her life?
If it wasn't for COVID, would you have been there?
Oh yeah. If it wasn't for COVID, I would have gone.
First of all, I feel like Christine is so savage when she says, the doctor was shocked I was there by myself. Like a literal doctor who presumably, one has to assume, goes to great lengths to not spread infections, is shocked that Kody is not there for this major surgery. Ysabel had to have a lung collapsed in order to have this surgery done. Like, it's no joke. And then Kody, oh my God, he goes, oh, you know, I feel bad for not going. I should have been there. He has all this regret. But if she could just recover so I could feel better, that would be great. And Kody says in this clip that if it wasn't for COVID, he would have been there. He would have been there to attend Ysabel's surgery. But really, I feel like if it wasn't convenient, he definitely would not have been there. Robin has said multiple times throughout this season that there is no way her kids could quarantine from Kody for more than 2 weeks. And so even if like there was no COVID protocols needing to be put in place, like extra quarantining time, the actual surgery and recovery, they would have been in New Jersey for a few weeks to a month, just for the surgery. Now, could they have gone somewhere else? Could they have gone somewhere locally? I don't know. I don't know why they chose New Jersey. I think it partly had to do with the fact that Christine had family out there. If you guys know why they chose New Jersey, definitely let me know down in the comments. But I don't think that Kody would have gone regardless, because Robin would have freaked out about it. And you know, we're all talking about one of my last videos was about Robin having this nanny. They talk about it in this episode, this employee. The nanny, supposedly, according to Kody, helps them with schooling. She helps take care for the children. And her husband also helps out by doing all the shopping. So what on earth is Robin actually doing with 3 adult or near adult children, like older teenagers to adult children in the house, with Robin herself, a nanny, and a nanny's husband that's doing all her shopping? There's not enough helping hands that Kody can't attend this major surgery for his daughter. There's no way I think that Robin would have been cool with Kody being gone for upwards of a month. Maybe he would have gone for a couple days and come back. We don't know, because that's not how things shook out. But at any rate, it seems that definitely Robin and her kids take priority. In this episode too, Robin gets super defensive about the rules. So they finally meet up and they're talking about this is the rules the nanny supposedly goes by, and this is why the nanny can be in Robin's house and around Robin's kids. Now, if the rest of the family abides by these rules, then we can have Thanksgiving together, we can have Christmas together, we can all start socializing as a family again. Well, a number of the wives, Janelle and Christine in particular, have brought up there has been no mention of these rules prior. Like, this is something that has just been drafted. Robin makes a point of saying, I know everyone is suspicious of me. She's had other kids calling her, asking her if they can, loosen the rules so that everyone can get together. And Robin is very adamant in saying that Kody is not one to be run by one of his wives. But if we look back, so I get her argument, and she did give, in my opinion, a compelling argument. I think there is something to be said that Kody he obviously doesn't have a romantic relationship with Mary. He hasn't for some time. Things have been on the rocks with Christine. I'm not sure about Janelle. He seems to still want to be in an active marriage with Janelle, but this seemed like a really good excuse for him to not have to participate in any of these other families. Robin is saying that, Kody is not one to be run by one of his wives, but Kody and I agree with that, but Kody in the past has called into question the necessity of Ysabel needing surgeries. He's always kind of been skeptical of the medical community. How are we all of a sudden supposed to just accept the fact that he believes hook, line, and sinker everything that his doctor has told him as far as following protocol wise, which I just want to say it's good. It's a good thing that he is being cautious about COVID, but there are still in place CDC guidelines from your doctor with how to be careful and still be able to socialize. The point of the story is that Kody could be safe about COVID. Kody could keep his family as safe as possible regarding COVID, and he could still be an active participant in his other marriages and in his other families. And I made a pretty bold statement at the beginning of this video that a lot of Kody's behaviors, and I think a lot of what is being highlighted in this season in particular, is just how emotionally manipulative and borderline, if not fully emotionally abusive, his relationships are with his wives, his other wives, and his kids. And I saw there was this website, nspcc.org, what is child abuse, types of abuse, emotional abuse, and they had this really good just like snippet, and I wanted to read some of the things that I found really interesting. So this article says that emotional abuse includes humiliating or constantly criticizing a child. We've seen him do that with his boys, especially Gabriel and Garrison. Making the child the subject of jokes or using sarcasm to hurt a child. We've seen him do that. Blaming and scapegoating, that's 100%. He's blaming his kids for the reason why he's not coming around Janelle and Christine. Not recognizing a child's own individuality or trying to control their lives. I think that could be applicable to Robin's kids. What are Robin's kids doing? Her older kids, what are they involved in? Do they have jobs? Dayton was supposedly he's in school, but we've seen all the other grown children, they're in school, they're dating, we don't hear any of that about Robin's kids. Pushing a child too hard or not recognizing their limitations. We saw this when he was trying to teach Truly how to ride a bike, and it was horrifically traumatic for her. Failing to promote a child's social development. I think this applies especially to Robin's children, and I think Robin has a part in that as well. Persistently ignoring them. He's obviously doing that. Being absent. Manipulating a child. You remember when Ysabel was going off to have her surgery and he asked her if she was going to act like a bitter housewife towards him because he wasn't there? That's totally manipulative. never saying anything kind, expressive, positive feelings, or congratulating a child on successes. Now, I don't think Kody never does these things, but I think that there's a lot of things that these kids are accomplishing that are just simply not recognized by him at all. And never showing any emotions and interactions with the child, also known as emotional neglect. I think he definitely emotionally neglects Truly and Savannah. I think for them, especially because they're the younger kids, except for Ari and Saul, I think that they've needed their dad in their lives at points where he just wasn't there. I think that is true for the older children as well. But if we're talking about the timeline of when Robin came into the family, I think Truly and Savannah probably felt that the most. You guys will have to let me know what you think down in the comments. I just really think it's blatantly obvious at this point about just how toxic these relationships are, and it's really stemming from the way Kody is approaching parenting and being in marriages with these other women, and what culpability does Robin play in that? Is it true? Is what Robin's saying true, that she's literally just reaping by accident the privilege of having Kody around 24/7 because she's willing to do the most extreme measures as far as safety protocols? Or is she kind of a co-conspirator in all this, and is this really more the two of them, plotting to isolate themselves from the rest of the family? And what is up with her kids, especially her older kids? I mean, we know that Solomon and Ari are being homeschooled, they're being cared for by this nanny, but are the older kids thriving? Are they engaged? I mean, we see Kody complaining about all the other kids' social lives. Does Robin's older kids have social lives? Do they have school? Do they have jobs? We just never hear about any of that. So let me know what you guys think down in the comments. Make sure you like this video, subscribe to my channel. Follow me on Instagram and Twitter at Reality Squad, and I'll see you guys in the next video. Take care. Have a good one. Bye.